Today, November 18, 2021, is the 5th anniversary of the burial of the dictator Ferdinand Marcos at the libingan ng mga Bayani. His burial there was one of the early acts of President Rodrigo Duterte. Despite widespread opposition from the survivors of martial law like myself, human rights advocates, the academe, progressive church people, and participants of the EDSA Democratic Uprising, which ousted the dictator in February 1986. Even the National Historical Commission of the Philippines objected on the grounds that Marcos's military record was filled with myths, factual inconsistencies, and lies. He lied about his guerrilla unit, receiving US medals, and his promotion. Si Ferdinand Marcos ay hindi bayani. Paano naman maging bayani ang isang sinungaling, magnanakaw, mandarambong at mamamatay tao? Siya ay isang pasistang diktador, hindi bayani. Niyurakan niya ang karapatang pantao ng mahigit 100,000 na biktima ng martial law na pinatay, tinorture at ikinulong, kabilang ako. At siya at kanyang pamilya ay pinatalsik ng people power pagkatapos ng 14 na taon ng puspusang pakikibaka. Ito ay makatotohanang datos ng kasaysayan na pilit ngayon gustong baguhin ng rebisyonismong historikal. The Marcos bust at Taloy Sur, Tuba Benguet, has long been a symbol of the Marcos dictatorship in northern Luzon. During the martial law period, Ferdinand Marcos built a huge bust of his face along the mountainside of Taloy Sur, a la Mount Rushmore. The ancestral land of the people of Taloy Sur was grabbed to make way for the Marcos Park, with the bust overlooking the cottages, golf course, clubhouse, and other structures. After the EDSA I People Power Uprising in 1986 and the ouster of the Marcos dictatorship, our organization, the Cordillera People's Alliance, met with then-President Corazon Aquino, and among our demands that she granted was the return of the land to the community of Taloy Sur. There was then a big celebration at the Marcos Park, and the bust was decorated with streamers proclaiming the success of the Filipino people's struggle against the dictatorship. Shortly thereafter, the bust was exploded as a rejection of the people of the North of the Marcos dictatorship. Now, the son of the dictator, Ferdinand Marcos Jr., wants to return to Malacanang without any remorse for his father's sins. Marcos Jr. has long been using the family's ill-gotten wealth, plundered from the nation's coffers, to try and revise history and rehabilitate the image of the dictatorship through social media using a mercenary troll army. He is using the dictatorship's ill-gotten wealth to fund his political campaign. He has now teamed up with the daughter of present-day dictator Rodrigo Duterte, who has followed in his idol Ferdinand Marcos's footsteps of extrajudicial killings, plunder, corruption, and authoritarianism. This terrifying tandem of Marcos Duterte should be opposed by the Filipino people with all our might. The Marcoses want to return to power, and the Dutertes to continue in power in order to escape accountability for their crimes against the Filipino people. The campaign against the return of the Marcoses and martial law, Karma, revisits Taloy Sur and the demolished Marcos bust this November 18 to proclaim that Marcos is no hero. Never again to martial law. No to Marcos Duterte, in 2022.